We like to think that Facebook gives you the lens of your friends to help you discover content, you know, whether that could be good or bad, but it's the place where you go to share your likes, tastes and preferences, and you know, some of that's around TV programs. Instead of maybe relying on the schedule to say what to watch at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever that might be, actually you can rely on the lens of your friends to help tell you what they're watching and what they're enjoying right now, and maybe you switch over to watch that.
The first thing I do, you know, when I put the kids to bed in the evening, is I'll turn on the TV, but I'll turn it on with a channel in mind that I'm going to. And of course, actually, channel brand I think is even stronger than the EPG, because, and it comes back to the curation point. You know, you understand those brands and you understand what kind of programs they're likely to have on, or what they have running at the moment. You'll go there first of all. I think on average, the average UK TV viewer has about 7 favourite channels, is it?
Yeah, between 6 and 10.
It's only after I don't find something on the EPG that I then move on to PVR or VOD, and it's, you know, it's the VOD that really recommendations are coming into play. Absolutely, you know, I'm very interested in recommendations from friends, but only after I've gone through channel brands and EPG.
People have a relationship with channels, and we've done some really new and exciting relationship modelling about people's relationships with media. And if you look at programmes, you find that actually, because you choose to watch a programme, that kind of determines your relationship. But channels have a much, much more interesting spread of relationships that we have with them.
My feeling is that below a certain age, people don't look at discovery in any of the ways that broadcasters would like them to anymore at all. And it's a mix of social media and search and a whole range of things, and piracy first, and then I want to watch it on HD and all sorts of things. And I'm not sure the loyalty is there for the old-fashioned EPG model at all, below, say, 24.
The long tail is really both an opportunity and a threat for the TV and film production companies, because, like the music industry, it opens up opportunities for audiences to watch TV and film when they want, where they want to.
We've been monetising our content through, you know, video sales, DVDs. You know, all that's changing is that technology is enabling new ways to monetise the long tail. That we're experimenting with. Putting archive content on the player behind the paywall. You know, it's very much a question, you know, we don't know how well that's going to succeed, but it's a question of testing and learning and seeing what our consumers are willing to do. But, I mean, everybody's monetising the long tail of TV content.
21% of Americans are subscribers to Netflix. It's by no means sure that that's going to be the model that sustains in the future. So I think the free-to-air model is an interesting one that perhaps in the on-demand space is going to be more powerful than we think.
The Kickstarter model for content creation, it's a great way of overcoming that illegal download behaviour, where you get consumers to pay upfront to commission a bit of content and then launch it into the market. What do you think of that model? Would you go with it?
I think it's very early to say that that's actually going to work as more of a gimmick. Unless people are really obsessed with the content that's up there. It's certainly going to help a number of people create content where they get a bit of finance. But it's hard to see that as being in anything other than part of the mix. It's like seed funding for a startup. It's the beginning of a business. You see each piece of content as a business. I think it'll be difficult for it to be whole business. Maybe there is a more data-led way of using Kickstarter than I'm seeing it being used.
Traditional broadcast schedules are still there, but VOD services are kind of brought into that. But is it going to be a more fragmented world in terms of subscriptions and services that you kind of sign up to on a, say, a mobile phone or a tablet?
So the schedule will always survive, and, you know, therefore broadcast in some form, whatever distribution channel, maybe in some distant future where, you know, we've got 20G or something and it works perfectly everywhere, then, you know, maybe we'll be using that rather than reserving swathes of the electromagnetic spectrum to broadcast. But, you know, there's always going to be that need there for a schedule.
I can't obviously disagree with that event-based TV. I think there's always going to be a need for that event-based telly. But I think people's relationship, or consumers' viewers' relationship, will be with actually specific programmes, and they won't care what channel it's on. I think that will be surfaced by their friends, because everyone's talking about it, and they'll watch it on a device that's convenient to them. And I think people will watch it on devices that's convenient to them at a time that's convenient to them.
Can on-demand television create events? I think we would probably at this stage say we don't know, but there is no doubt that Netflix, in commissioning an originally produced series, House of Cards, with Kevin Spacey, and the advertising muscle that they put behind that, you could not say that that was an event that was available on-demand television.
Event-driven VOD consumption, and can event be created in a catch-up world?
Arrested Development and probably House of Cards as well could be described as event television, even though they weren't on live television, they were only available on Netflix. In the long term, the kind of budgets that they've got to put into that kind of quality of programming isn't going to be sustainable, and I'll bet somebody that in a few years' time we'll see House of Cards turn up on some linear channel somewhere.
If you look at the history of the way that we've produced content and the sort of content that's been created on the back of that, it's really been defined by the devices that we use to consume it. Whereas really what we're moving to now is a world whereby we're consuming this content across a whole wide range of devices with different technical specs and different screen sizes, right down from tiny little mobile phone screens to gigantic home cinema, 50-inch plus screens.
I wonder, what is the view of the panel of the increasing use of different devices? Is it cannibalising existing broadcast schedules?
Mobiles were beginning to be capable of screening movies, having a discussion in Los Angeles about how nobody would ever watch a full-length programme on something this size. When you were in the UK, your normal form of transport was crushed against somebody else, and you were watching it this close anyway, because the people haven't changed, and broadly speaking, the things they want to do and consume haven't changed. What we are now seeing, I think, is really clever thinking about how to make content sticky and people go from one device to another.
Devices are obviously providing new viewing opportunities, and I think it's the second point around second screen or different devices offering opportunities to make telly better, whatever that might be, play along games, additional content about the show, whatever that might be, and I think that's where Facebook will fit. I think we can make watching telly better. Social media or online per se can actually kind of extend that relationship prior to broadcast, kind of build anticipation. And I think it's all around kind of extending that relationship, making it a deeper, more meaningful relationship.
Second screen's an area of great focus for us. I mean, especially me, I'm interested in advertising on it. We just finished the BGT season, of course, and it was our most downloaded play-along game or show-related app ever. It's just over 1 million, 1.06 million. We're seeing great interactions on the second screen. It's obviously, from my point of view, trying to monetize that. It's a real opportunity because there's nothing that beats TV advertising for storytelling power. That 30 seconds of audio-visual immersion. But of course, traditional TV sets at least don't have a return path. So your personal device in your hand provides that return path.